Morag eyed the bucket in the middle of the room. So long as the hole is repaired before the next heavy rain, I'll be content. He shifted on the bed, his heavy leg pressing briefly against hers, and Morag's pulse leapt. A vision of him bearing her to the mattress, his lips locked on hers, sprang into her thoughts. She quickly buried the image, but not before her cheeks bloomed with heat. It was an impossible vision. Not once in the 4 months he had lived with her had Magnus done more than kiss her, and even that kiss had happened only once. 5 weeks ago, before he set out on a mission to aid a strange woman who'd knocked upon their door, he'd swooped in, given Morag the kiss of a lifetime, and then walked out. Morag had spent the next few days pondering the deeper meaning of that kiss, wondering where it might lead. But when Magnus returned, everything had changed. He'd been withdrawn and thoughtful, consumed by what he had discovered on his journey. He'd found his kin while he was away, and learned the heart-rending truth about the night he'd nearly died, that his wife and son had been slain by a murderer. One mere kiss meant nothing in the face of all that. Morag was ashamed that she continued to dwell upon it. But it had been a truly memorable kiss, hot and passionate and full of sweet promise. Magnus took the bowl and spoon from Morag's hands and stood. He washed the bowls in a mix of sand and water, then rinsed them and put them away. "I know it's your intent to work on your weaving at first light. Shall we retire for the night?" Morag avoided his gaze. Better that he never know the direction of her thoughts, which, at the moment, had naught to do with weaving. "Aye." He banked the fire and blew out the candle. Darkness settled over the room, relieved only by the golden glow of smoldering coals in the fire pit. She untied her boots, removed her overdress, and slipped under the blankets. Magnus waited until she was lying with her back to him, then she heard him remove his lane and join her on the bed, not touching, but near enough to sense each other's warmth. This was how all their evenings ended, sharing the dark together in silence. Morag wanted more, and under different circumstances she would have asked for it, but her respect for him held her back. He was the most honorable man she had ever known. If he needed time, then she would give it to him, and if he never showed an interest in another kiss, she would accept his decision. Sadly, but willingly. Morag closed her eyes. She owed that much to the man who'd once shown her more kindness than a shunned woman had the right to ask for. Dunstoris Castle, July 1282. "Morag Cameron," declared Laird Duncan, staring down at her from his high-backed chair on the dais, "you are hereby banished from the village of Dunstoris, never to return, save to trade your goods and buy supplies on fair days. You may gather whatever belongings you can carry on your back, but by evenfall you must be gone from these walls. Do you understand?" Morag glanced across the crowded great hall at Pater, still hoping he would break his silence and speak for her. The young blacksmith knew the truth, that Thomas had wooed her with tireless devotion, promising her the sun and the moon and, eventually, a lifetime of happiness at her side. She'd given Thomas her maidenhead the night he'd whispered that vow in her ear, believing him to be a man of his word. How wrong she'd been. The next morning, Thomas had put her aside with callous disdain, denying he'd ever made such a vow. But Pader had heard his brother's promise to wed her. He had the power to put an end to this mad proceeding, if only he would tell the laird what he knew. But he did nothing. He stared at his hands, refusing to look up. His silence was an unexpected knife in her gut. She'd thought him a very different man. In the months following Thomas's betrayal, Pader had proven himself an able friend, offering a sympathetic ear to her woes and a shoulder to cry on. They had become lovers only recently, after her heart had mended and the future once again held promise. He was kind to her.